out the signals for the Baltimore Colts. Unitas gives to Amici. The Colts are the world champions. Amici scores.
It's amazing, sensational, dramatic, heart-rending, exciting, thrilling finish in the history of college football. California has won the big game.
5 seconds left in the game. Do you believe in miracles? Yes! Unbelievable.
This is Phil Steele.
This is Mike Burnham.
This is Wes Durham.
This is Mike Ashley.
Hi, this is Chuck Foreman, number 44 of the Minnesota Vikings.
Woo, mercy, this is handsome Jimmy Vane, the Boogie Woogie Man.
This is Coach Fry with Virginia Tech Football, and you are listening to Big Dog Sports Talk.
Are you ready to rock? Are you ready to roll? Okay, let's do it.
Rick Watson's got the mic, he's the big dog king. Cover sports so sharp, it's a new river thing. Virginia Tech fire, Radford pride too. Every stat, every play, he's bringing it to you. He's got that voice, deep as the valley, breaking it down, no dilly, no dally. Big dog sports talk, feel the bark. In the zone, every day, every night, from the Hokies to the Highlanders. He's got the spark. Big Dog Sports Talk, lighting up the dark. He's got the scoop, faster than a sprint, calling plays like a coach. Every word's a hint. From the courts to the fields, the stories unfold. Rick's play-by-play, worth its weight in gold. With a laugh and a growl, he'll pull you in. Big Dog's podcast, let the games begin. Big Dog Sports Talk, feel the bark, feel the bite. Rick's in the zone, every day, every night, from the Hokies to the Highlanders.
It is every bit of Monday here on the program. Glad to have you with us. Wherever you might be, hit us up in the McClellan Chiropractic chat room. Good morning, Stephen. How are you? Or also on the Professional Door Incorporated text line 391-0788. Coach Elmo going to join us here coming up. And then we're going to have Jonathan Sweet from Pulaski County Sports Entertainment. You had jet ski weekend. What's up, Leo? Good morning. Hello. Please subscribe. And then Todd Grantham. On the eve of college football practice getting underway tomorrow, today, Tech gets it going as well. Everybody's getting going. And you know what that means? That means we successfully navigated through the first off season of football here on the new YouTube format. And I do believe we did it quite successfully. That means no more dead months now that we're in August as football is here. We made it, folks.
Oh,
and who knew?
oh
Who
my.
knew?
Oh,
Who
no.
Knew?
Oh, no. That was out of nowhere. Oh!
Yeah. Okay. Thanks to Family Fencing. Get a free quote, 540-200-8294. Very happy to say that they will be returning as our studio sponsor for year 2. Thanks to all the folks, Jason Green at Family Fencing. Rising business. We're a rising new show here on YouTube. See how it all goes hand in hand. Mark Hunley, McClellan Chiropractic, 155 Walters Drive. Going to be doing some more video shooting over there. Thanks to Mark for his continued support here on the program. Couldn't do it without all you wonderful people. Visit Brandon at Top Shelf Apparel, 4377 Lee Highway. Thanks to the Montgomery County Chamber of Commerce for all their help. Lawson's Mobile Home Supply, that's over on 300 North Franklin Street in Christiansburg. Give James a call, 540-381-8011. Manufactured parts for your home. And he's been going since 97. How about that? Almost 30 years for James Lawson. It's awesome. Awesome Lawson. Hey, I rhyme better than poison. Hey, Wayne? NRV Super Bowl where we had our bash, 382-5525. Leagues are now forming, men's, women's, mixed league. They also have leagues for kids. And it's just the happy place to be. The NRV Super Bowl. Coach Elmo was just blown away by it, right? Just blown away by it. Sundown Electric. Jeff's going to send me, people have been asking for the Sundown Electric logo shirt. So we're going to see if we can show you that, what that would look like, how to get one. One of the best reputations, long list of satisfied clients. It is a cool logo. I'm going to show it to you. Superior craftsmanship, attention to detail. Smith Brothers continuing what their father continued here. Let's see if I can find it. This thing's cool, man. I could see this being very effective on a shirt. Look at that. Isn't that cool? Great logo. Great logo. No wonder you want that on a shirt. No wonder. If you want one of our shirts, it's $20. If shipped, $30. ReadySetFund.com, Bob Christ. BobChrist11 at Gmail. Series of text messages, and you can earn some money. Just ask the Floyd County girls softball team. They raised $4,300. Professional Incorporated, sure hope you took advantage of 40 years in business. You're now out of time if you did not get that in. Shame on you. Shame on you. Hopefully you did get it scheduled, and you're going to have some of the best folks of any profession around here. 674-0008. Maybe if you called today and apologize, you could still get $40 off. Doubtfully, though. You missed out if you procrastinated. National Bank, member FDIC, the exclusive banking partner of me and this program. And thanks to Larry Ramsey and all those great folks. Again, they made my refinancing relatively easy and pain-free. It's always stressful. They're the best. Absolutely the best. The BDST fan question of the week. We have to get one here, brought to you by the attorney Ryan Price, 701 West Main Street in Radford. We've had some really interesting ones. You know what's working is when you, the listening audience, comes up with the question. And I'm not trying to be lazy, but let's go with it. Let's see if you can hit us up with one. Little River Heating and Air, 1095 Radford Street in Christiansburg, 540-553-2971. Thanks to Charles Lee and Company. We're presented each and every day by Pulaski County Sports Entertainment. Jonathan Sweets joining us today at 7:30. We're going to talk about the jet ski weekend. The River Turtles were in the final in the App League, and they lost to Kingsport. I'm not sure why the score was 8-8, but it was. I don't really understand what that meant. The App League put the graphic up, and it said 8-8, and there's an asterisk beside. So I'm not sure what that means. Because usually when, you have a tie, the game's not decided. I don't know if it was aggregate runs. Did we do this like soccer? Trust me, we don't need to borrow anything clock or scoring-wise from soccer in American sports. But in any event, that happened. But the River Turtles rallied in the postseason and nearly pulled out a championship. So, yeah. Good stuff. Not so good stuff. Major League Baseball. The Dodgers have created more of a ruckus, and I'm getting a little tired of everybody trying to act like this isn't a Dodgers problem. This is directly a Dodgers problem. They pulled off a trade that doesn't make any sense to most people. The Tigers are ones to blame as well for what they did in the trade for Skubal, who is their ace, and they got a very minimal return, very fringe prospects. Tariq Skubal goes, or Skubal, I think it's Skubal. He's a lefty. He goes to the Dodgers. It's basically going to ensure that the Dodgers win their third straight World Series. And everybody is very upset. Dodger fans continue to act like everybody's wrong. Of course they are. But I think what the Dodgers are doing now is more detrimental to baseball than even what the Houston Astros did, cheating in 2017. I mean, the Dodgers are taking advantage of a horrible system that's in place. The baseball system is broken. Give up on baseball after this year. There won't be a season. Everybody's still trying to act like, oh, it might salvage 100 games. How? If they do not agree to a cap or a floor, I don't know what they do. There's no competitive balance. The Dodgers have over $1.5 billion deferred in salary. That should not be allowed. It's ridiculous. Does the NFL do that? Does the NBA? Does the NHL? No. Does FIFA? Does the EPL do that? No. Only Major League Baseball. So the Dodgers have 7 players. It's 7 players currently on their roster with $1.4 deferred billion in salary, so they stay under the threshold. It's a Rob Manfred problem. It's a baseball problem. It never should have been allowed. The Dodgers are taking advantage, but they continue to feast. And I don't know what the Tigers were doing. And everybody's saying, well, wait a minute, he's only a 3-month rental. He's already on record as saying that as a free agent, he wanted to be in L.A. So he's going to re-sign with the Dodgers, especially if nothing is fixed. And then they gave up 3 prospects that won't help the Tigers in any way, shape, or form. Make it make sense. And make it make sense that anyone can sit here and defend this and try to act like, oh, the Dodgers are, everybody's trying to blame the Dodgers. Yes. So baseball is screwed. I don't know if that'll upset people or not, but Major League Baseball is absolutely screwed. From Tony Romo's remaining $72 million CBS speakeasy contract, J.J. Watt is about to clean up and show Tony how to add and subtract. Let's hope old Romo gets himself back on track. BDST forever. What's up, Morris? Good morning. Tony Romo. I had a lot of people kick back in comments on our short, acting like I was making a big deal out of it. Well, CBS apparently thinks it's a big deal because they have put him on leave at CBS. I don't know what might happen to him. It's a very bad look for their lead analyst on their number one watch show, the NFL, to have to deal with this. And look, nobody's saying that he shouldn't have another chance. Nobody is saying that you're going to condemn the guy forever for making a horrible judgment. And you saw people quick to defend Romo, trying to put it off on the police officer, who was very nice. I don't understand that. But Romo right now has been very quiet. I think he knows he's in some trouble. And I don't know what CBS is going to do. Who knows nowadays what media organizations are going to do? They pick and choose what offends them and what they need to act on. So who knows? Who knows? But he has declined considerably on air in the past couple of years. We've talked about it. He came out like a ball of fire. He was something that we haven't heard really in a long time, since maybe Madden, the way he was breaking down plays, making predictions, and he had very good timing for somebody coming into it for the first time with Jim Nantz, and then it just kind of all changed. And he hasn't been very good. So I don't know what might happen. I hope he gets back on track. You worry about his life now. And I've seen the video twice. People were trying to say he wasn't even inebriated. Yeah, he was. I don't know what video you're watching, but yeah, he was. And the problem with it is, if you want to have it shown to you, is that he shouldn't have been behind the wheel of a vehicle. That's the problem. Not the fact that he drank a little bit at the golf course. We're not talking about that. Someone else could have been hurt. You know how that works, right? Morris says, I think it should be a rule that one gets to stretch before the DUI roadside test. Yeah, he was stretching. So, yeah, the Dodgers have been the poster boy of taking advantage of a horrible system. And baseball is going to suffer for it in the short term. And whether they fix it in the long term or not, I don't know. I have no faith in anyone who runs anything. Look at just what happened in college sports yet again. We got to talk about this with Coach Elmo coming up, Todd Grantham. Now you have all these players suing. You had a judge overturn the ruling on the 5-for-5. And then you had that judge come out and say they needed to look at it some more. She didn't really understand it. Then why in the world did you make a statement? I'm utterly confused as to anything that happened this weekend. The NCAA is going to be appealing the court decision in Colorado. That's where this judge came from. I know our conference, the Big South's having a conference call. But now you have all these athletes that are applying to come back in. Charlotte Sweeney in Colorado issued a preliminary injunction that grants eligibility to all 2022 high school student athletes that exhausted eligibility this spring and competed in D1 sports. From her order, she says the NCAA is correct. A preliminary injunction is an extraordinary remedy, the exception rather than the rule. So I don't know where this is going to head. I don't know what this means for rosters. After our Big South meeting on Tuesday, hopefully we'll have some clarification in how the Big South progresses going forward, is likely how other leagues are going to progress. We have said this, I don't know how many times here on the program. Is there anyone with any kind of sustenance, credibility, authority running anything in sports today? Or is it just all controlled by money and the desire to acquire more? I mean, I know it sounds like you beat a dead horse, right? It's a broken record. You beat the same drum, whatever cliche you want to use, but it never ends, and it continues to throw itself at us almost daily. Those of us who love sports, and it's such a big part of who we are. We are entering an age to where I'm not sure this is going to be able to be sustainable, not only from the financial standpoint, but from our fanship. When does this start just becoming entertainment like WWE? Like, I don't even know what the hell's going on anymore. Baseball is turned upside down. You still have people doing somersaults trying to defend what the Dodgers are doing and what baseball's allowed. You have all this going on in college sports, yet Tech's going to sell out VMI that night. You're going to ignore it because of the game, because of your passion. Again, the fans is what's holding this together. Think about that for a second. The only thing holding sports together are the fans. We, because we're all fans, we are the truest representative of the heart and the soul of sports in this country now. It's no one else. It's no one else. It's not any of the owners of the professional sports, certainly, or the athletes. It's no one in college athletics. It's us. How do things continue to progress and you can keep promoting game nights and new horrible uniforms? Well, because they know the fans are going to be there to consume product. Now, that's the negative part, because it does, hey, you may not like to hear this, but we always go back, and this is what they always count on. We are, I don't want to say weak, but we have a vulnerability because of our fanship. Before all this was going on, I remember my dad, and my mom and my dad were big influences on my sporting life. Maybe my mom even more so. She was a massive Cowboys fan. From the 60s, she chose her team. My dad was a Steelers fan. In the era before they got good, he started rooting for the Steelers in the 60s, the late 60s, before Chuck Noll, before the historic draft, before Joe Green and Mel Blount and L.C. Greenwood and Mike Webster and all those guys came in. But he would say, as he's gotten older, he's gotten less affected by it. His fanship waned. He didn't like even in his day, right? You know, the money. Your dad's been gone now, going on 7 years. Hard to believe. But if he were around today, I can only imagine with college sports and with what he sees what's going on in the pros. But we always go back, and they know that. Everybody's talking about college football. How did I lead off the show today? We got through the dead part of the summer, and now it's time for football. It's all about football, and we're all excited, right? We're all excited. But we're always going to go back. We're always going to go back. The VHSL getting a lawsuit from a student wanting an extra year to get better college offers will happen one day. Yeah, probably so. Probably so, Matthew. DeAndre Hopkins isn't playing football anymore? I had no idea. What did they hire DeAndre Hopkins for? Really? I thought he was still in the league. Did he retire? I thought he was still playing. He's never coached, right? Or has he? Huh. I didn't know that, Stephen. Wide receiver coach. Okay, well, I don't know. I have no thoughts. I didn't know he retired, to be honest with you. I thought he was on an NFL roster going into camp. I thought he was still playing or trying to play another year or two. I don't know. Probably for recruiting. Probably not. And what I mean by recruiting is getting to convince kids to go for the Georgia Tech money. I don't know. I don't know. He's a name. You certainly can't say he was hired because of his coaching prowess, because he hasn't ever coached. So, I guess we'll see. I guess we'll see. He also says he's not retiring. Well, how's that going to work? Is he taking a year off? Is he hurt? Is that what it is? Does he have an injury? So he's gonna coach wide receivers, but he's not gonna retire from the NFL. Okay. We're trying to get Jack Turner set up. He's been unable to connect to our studio. We're trying to figure all that out. So we're trying to work that out with Jack, who's now at Pikeview, West Virginia, coaching. By the way, I've seen Brand New Day, the new Spider-Man movie, and I have thoughts. It made, and you got to keep inflation in mind, but it made the second most money ever in the history of filmdom in its opening weekend, second only to Endgame. $927 million. It's hard to get into it without getting into spoilers, so maybe on Pop this week I'll get into Brand New Day. No, Jack's not coming on today. Jack has not figured out how to connect to the studio. We worked on it yesterday for quite a while. It's something he's going to have to figure out. I think we're going to end up doing it on a laptop with him. We were hoping to have him on today. That was the plan, Low Country, but it didn't work out. According to NBC, he's waiting for another opportunity. Okay. The Georgia Tech brought him on. Well, he can't be the wide receiver coach then. He's just got to kind of be a guy helping, right? Is he like one of these, the new trend of coaches? Is he a co-wide receiver coach? Still don't know what the hell that means. Hey, what position are you? I'm the defensive line coach. Oh, yeah? Well, hi, my name's Ed. I'm now your co-defensive line coach. Oh, okay. My guess is that there won't be much of an impact then if he's looking to play football again, DeAndre Hopkins. Georgia Tech. Whenever I get to the point of just throwing up my arms and not having a clue as to what the hell's going on, I always like to talk to Coach Elmo because he brings me back down to earth. Coach, how are you? What in the world's going on in the world? How are you?
Rick, how are we doing?
I'm hanging in there, man. Hanging in there, I guess. Hey, by the way, how was the fishing? Did you get to go this weekend?
No, not this weekend. Next weekend.
You didn't go? Next weekend? Okay.
Coming weekend.
All right.
I'm going to go Friday. Then I'm going up to Virginia, UVA Saturday. I'm based out of Roanoke. It's only a couple of hour drive to Charlottesville. And then fish Friday, Saturday, and maybe Monday morning before I head back. But those are the 2 days I'm going to see if it'll work. And I looked up Whitehorn.
Yeah.
Whitehorn.
I think so.
It's a long stretch. I mean, it's like the Whitehorn Road. But I was just curious. I may take a shot on that, but I didn't see any roads to the river. On the Google map, I really expanded it. You got the railroad tracks. I'm sure there is. I was just wondering how I can get to the river and what part of it, because that's a long road that parallels the river.
Peeps will know. Yeah, they'll tell us. Yeah.
When you go and look at where Parrot is. The road, you Google it and you expand that map, there's that road that runs right along the river, Parrot Road, River Road, or whatever it is. But I couldn't find a road like the one to Parrot that paralleled the river. It just, you can see Whitehorn Road, then the railroad tracks, then the river, and did not see any access. I'm sure there is. I just don't want to be running up and down that road looking for.
Yeah. T-Bird will let us know if he's around. He knows that area really well. Yeah, they'll know. Cool. Somebody will know. All right, so the mess with college football and the eligibility rule is back in the news, huh? Your thoughts?
Hey, are you surprised?
No.
Come on, Rick.
No, not at all.
It's Groundhog Day. I mean, we talked about this before. It's going to be a lawsuit. here's my point. Here's the NCAA that for years was doing whatever they wanted to do or decided to do and not have any repercussions whatsoever. Then they basically, like I said, there's a love-hate relation with football particularly. And anything they ended up doing was based on football, not necessarily all sports, football / basketball, mostly football. And basically it's they decided to really do a middle finger to football and say, okay, enough of your crap. We're going to open this up. Okay, NIL portal / NIL portal. They made those decisions, the NCAA, correct? I think I'm right on that. Somebody did. It wasn't the government. It wasn't the football coaches. It wasn't the athletic directors to a point, but it was the NCAA, which is president's athletic directors, that they decide because of the lawsuits and the Ed O'Bannon case, starting with him and moving on, because of the lawsuits, the amount of money and time they would be spending in the courtrooms. Just don't forget, they got to spend when they get taken to court. They're not getting. It's not for free. They got to pay their attorneys whatever thousands of dollars per hour they're getting, and there's a little bit like, is it really worth the money to pursue this lawsuit that we're going to probably lose? No. So they don't even fight some of it anymore. That's my guess. I'm probably wrong on it. I don't know. I'm obviously not an attorney. I've never talked to one. But, they created this mess by initiating, the NIL and the portal. And now all of a sudden they're going to come out and flex a muscle. They're going to go do a bicep flex on numbers of years of eligibility. What? You can't fix the bigger problems. They just decide, oh, you know what? We're gonna show people that we're still the NCAA. We're still what? So they probably huddle up, right? Let's huddle up. Attorneys from the NCAA. What do you think? Can we get? Yeah, no, we should win. We're okay with this one. Yeah, right. They lose again. They're going to lose. They're going to lose. They're going to get an injunction, and nothing's going to be done. And how about this can of worms? Now you got former players wanting to come back. It's like, it's a domino effect that's going to hell. That domino line is leading you to hell. It's another issue that we have to talk about. And I mean, I'm no attorney, but I'll tell you, if I'm a betting man, I would have bet that they're going to get sued and they're going to lose, and I'm going to win that.
I agree. Yeah,
it's an absolute. And then the Save College Football Act from Carter, that ain't going to pass. What did Ronald Reagan say? The worst words you could ever hear is, "I'm from the government and I can help you."
I can help you. Yeah.
Do you want these guys involved? Those jackasses up there in Washington?
No.
I mean, I respect Tommy Tuberville, always have, coached against him numerous times, got to meet him numerous times, but so it's another NCAA disaster created by who? The NCAA.
NCAA. That's right.
They think they're going to come out and flex a muscle and go, oh, okay. All right. You think we're dead? No. Guess what? You got 5 years. That's it. Come on.
And then the judge, Coach, that made the ruling puts out a statement that she's not extremely familiar with collegiate sports yesterday. Therefore, I'd like to clarify my ruling. I mean, she puts out a statement about that. I neglected to mention the class of 22 players must stay at their original schools. Like, oh, by the way, I left this out of my ruling. I mean, it's laughable. It's just laughable what's going on.
It's a mess. The NCAA created this, and good luck. It's the gift that keeps on giving. Sad part is, you can't wait for the college season to begin because it's really sad. What is really sad is between the NCAA and their ignorance, I'm not going to call it stupidity, Stupidity is for people that really don't have enough intelligence to think. You got ignorance, people that make decisions that should know better.
Yeah, right.
So it's the ignorance of the NCAA that's going on display right now. And all these attorneys and people that think they can go ahead and whatever they do, they're not going to get sued. They're over, Rick, unless somebody tells me different. Tell me which
no, they have not won.
Tell me what case they have won. That's
and
all.
they won't. Yep.
Please,
and they
let
won't.
me know.
Yep.
100 cases, tell me. What have you won? They're going to lose another one. So anything they're dead. They're dead in the water. These people, and don't forget, think about 30, 40 years ago, the power not the power that they had, but the fact that the NCAA could, it was actually born out of the transferring situations. You go back to the history of the NCAA with Walter Byers and how it was run. Those days are over. They're dead. I mean, it's over. That is not going back. And so guess what? The 10% club is they're okay with, they don't care. Ohio State, Alabama, SEC, Big Ten, they could care less. Don't change a damn thing because they've got the funds.
Yeah, they've got the money. They always will, and they always will. They always will. Do you think if 20 years ago, 25 years ago, the NCAA would have said, you know what, before O'Bannon was ever a thing, 30 years ago, whatever it was, we need to come up with a revenue share. We understand that these young folks in football, especially, and college basketball are making. You think if they'd have just opened that up and just, started sharing the money then, it would have obviously gone up as the contracts gone up, and they treated the student athletes like partners as opposed to just being, workers who didn't get any money. You think we'd see this kind of evolution to destruction that we have today?
That's too much common sense, Rick. These people don't deal in they don't deal in this. The money was too big. Don't forget, this is what my perspective on this, right, wrong, who knows? I'm just giving you my perspective in my 40 years of doing this and not really giving a crap. I just did what the NCAA gives. Here's a rule book. Okay, and make sure don't break the rules. All right, great. Recruiting, particularly, the recruiting part, or, coaching players. So, but the bottom line is with the NCAA is, that all came out of greed. They're making so much money. I think when the video started coming out, which was the NCAA logo was on the front of that Xbox, whatever that video thing was, you could see the NCAA sanctioned. And the visuals of whether it's Michael Vick or wherever, and those kids are going, hey, that's me. We're lawyering up. That's me. They're selling me. The and this is NCAA sanctioned sponsored video.
They were property.
The jerseys the jerseys and so forth and so forth. And they were making way too much money that they never even gave it a thought. The next thing you know, Ed O'Bannon or whoever, and I really believe the baseline was it all started with the video games.
It did.
I may be wrong on that, but that's what my thoughts on it. You say we're not that's the reason, but this is when it started. The jerseys, the video games, which you saw the NCAA logo plastered. When you go look at the tag of the cost of the jersey in a bookstore, there's an NCAA logo on it. Trademarked, NCAA, whatever / university, but it was an NCAA sanctioned. Go on their site and look at all the NCAA sanctioned stuff you can buy, from some stuff from a university. And I think there was too much money involved. So they said, no, they didn't even give it a thought. They were just making a ton of money. And all of a sudden, someone said, whoa, wait a minute. A couple of players, hey, you're using me? Oh, no. And then they decided to do the NIL, because remember what happened to the days when the kids were bitching and pissing and moaning? We need to go out, we we need money to go to a movie and get a pizza.
Right.
Remember
yeah.
that? You know,
yeah. Oh,
hey,
yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
You know, we need money to we can't even afford to go out and have any kind of social life. Oh yeah, no, but now it's we need money to go get a Lamborghini.
Yeah, you got a deal now.
Yeah, I mean, you know, millions of this thing spiraled so far out of control. It's the endless circle. So yeah, it's a mess.
About 10 years ago, Coach, I got called into the athletic director's office because it was pouring down rain one day. I was driving across the bridge. You've been to Deadman. You know the bridge I'm talking about.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, exactly.
And there were two of our basketball players, and they were caught in the rain. They
gave them a ride, and that was illegal.
I said, guys, jump in, man. Y'all are getting soaked. And so I let them out. And they were thankful, and apparently word got in, and I get called in saying that I broke an NCAA rule by giving the gentleman. I said, are you kidding me right now? Really? Okay. Yeah, that's a true story. Yeah.
Well, Rick, you look at that scenario and think about athletics now. Hey, those kids would be in their Lamborghinis picking you up in the rain.
That's true. Rick, you need a ride? Yeah.
I don't know if they're driving Lamborghinis at Radford, but at least whatever, Toyotas, whatever they're driving, So,
yeah, just trying to help out people who obviously didn't need to be that wet. But no, can't do that. Can't do that.
Oh, years ago, we used to bring kids over the house and, or feed them and give them meals, things of that nature. I mean, just look at all the things that some coaches did, like the UNLV Tarka. What was?
Oh yeah, Jerry Tarkanian. Yeah,
Jerry Tarkanian. All the things he did that were just, and he won. He sued the NCAA and won. He won his lawsuit.
He did
against the NCAA. But think of all the petty. Hey, let's pick these kids up out of the rain, and you get called into the AD's office because it's illegal. How petty was that compared to what they're doing now? That's how ridiculous it was.
Yeah.
That's how inconsistent the NCAA. It's a joke where they had been. All those poor guys had records taken away, coaches getting fired or relieved, breaking NCAA rules, blah blah blah. And now they should be ashamed of themselves. Ashamed of themselves. They should reinstate all the records and all the. Yeah, I'm not so surprised. Like some of the coaches that were, that were fired for some offenses that were just ridiculous. They should go sue the NCAA.
And then they're trying to punish this linebacker for $430 plane ticket because he wanted to go see about the that he paid back, and they're saying he's suspended for 2 games.
Well, Rick, here's what the NCAA is trying to do. Okay, here's what the NCAA is trying to do. Okay, they're trying to do this. All right, with a flex, you got a little BB for a bicep. That's all. It's a joke.
It's not Popeye, is it? No.
Oh, hey. Oh, by the way, we're the NCAA. You plane ticket? Oh, come on now. Shoot, I'm not so sure some of these kids will be access to private planes with some of their NIL deals.
Well, that's true too. That's true too.
Fly their parents up to games as a part of their unwritten contract. Crazy.
But the fans, see, and that's what I'm saying. All of us as fans, see, we're going to keep going back. They know they've got us, and they know the money's going to keep flowing despite the just massive amount of ineptitude from the decision makers who are also making fair share of money. No matter if you're talking about commissioners, presidents, ADs, I don't have any faith that anybody has got the right mind of what's going on other than what's in front of them. Right, in terms of how this thing's supposed to look going forward.
Don't forget, anybody with 3 letters in front of their names, be careful. PhD, be careful.
Doctor, Dr. Dot.
Yeah, Dr. Dot. Three. Just be very, very be aware, because this intelligence turns into ignorance in a hurry.
Yeah.
You got no.
We had a ceremony last year I was the MC, and somebody took the time to come up and say, "Oh, by the way, when you introduce me, make sure you put in Doctor." I'm like, really? Okay. How long have I known you? Now you want to be okay? Okay. All right.
Yeah, no.
It's all about appearance. In other words, it's all about appearance. It's all about It's all about status. It's not about doing anything the right way. So
unbelievable. Yeah. One thing I had a chance to change the subject, but talking football, which it really is the gift that keeps on giving the NCAA, but it is Groundhog Day. What conversations? Not just you, Rick. I don't care. You could turn on any sports venue, and especially some people with credibility in terms of their working, not the talking heads.
No.
ESPN, but just it's just so sad because you're not when you ask about a player in college football today, what's the first thing about? NIL, portal, and they all got stories, but the stories are taking a back seat in the off season. Now, when the season comes into play, then you get to hear the stories, and sometimes the portal stories, like the Ward kid. What a great story. Small school in Texas to Washington State to Miami to Heisman Trophy winner to the NFL. That's a hell of a story.
I know it is. He's a hell of a kid. He's a good kid.
That's a 1% club. And all of a sudden, but then you don't hear about the portal guys that go out of the portal or being told to leave and they can't find a spot and they're out. Their college and their educations are over. Done. Because some attorney or mom and dad, they're chasing the money, and they found out, nope, can't do it. What leads me into what I was going to mention to you, I got a chance to spend about a half hour on the phone with Brandon Donovan, Todd Grantham's the GM at UAB. I guess he's the GM, but he is the main guy with the personnel.
Yeah.
And he's sharp. I really like him. I can see why Todd really likes him. We were evaluating running backs because I was listening to Greg Roberts and I heard about this kid from Middle Tennessee State that transferred to UVA, and apparently, just the first couple of days that the running back coach came out and said he was really impressed with him. So I went and I said, all right, since I'm on the PFF, I said, I'm gonna look this guy up and evaluate him. At the same time, I had text Brandon Donovan, Todd's GA. I said, hey, take a minute to evaluate this guy. Well, he already had. They got to evaluate just every portal kid that, that comes into play. So he already had evaluated. So I went and looked at the kid and, because they're raving about him. I said, oh, okay. So I went and looked at, he's 5'8". He's 190 pounds, 5'9". They say, listen, at 5'10", bull, 5'8", 5'9". And I'm watching him, and I always say that you got to be careful with why Ron Dane didn't make it in the NFL, because he was not a great receiving back at all. And his pass protection. It just never had to do it. He did not do it. It just wasn't asked to do it as a pass protector for a point, as opposed to a Tootin, those two are his best assets outside. Yeah. He's a pretty good runner, but those two things, he was an A+ prospect, pass protecting and receiving skills. Well, I'm watching this kid at 5'8", and I'm sitting there going, I'll tell you what, if he's in the game and I throw drop back pass and they're blitzing linebackers, and he's got, whether he's dual reading or assigned as on the most times to the backside, it's a man protect side where he's got the first inside to outside backer, which one of them comes first, going inside out. Well, if I'm playing quarterback with him back there, I'm taking out insurance policy, because he gets run over, misses blocks, and it's a disaster in the protection. He may end up being All-American, All-ACC, but I was like, wow, I don't know. And the other thing I looked at, because we were talking about this, I said, Brandon, when you look at some of these running backs in the portal, it's not like you're dealing with a high school kid. I think sometimes projections and having those kids switch positions probably more difficult because the money you spend on them, they'll just jump right back in the portal again. But I said, if I'm on a team where a 5'8" running back of this caliber comes into the program, and all of a sudden the running back coach, or you're in a staff meeting, and hey, Phil, would you like to take him on defense? You know what my answer would be? No. 5'8"? Not that the 5'8" scares me, but he's not athletic enough. What's he going to do? Play corner? Go to safety, corner, linebacker? What are we going to do with him? So you're stuck with him. Now it's not only eating the grant, you're eating NIL money. Now I hope this kid does great for UVA. But the cool thing was with Donovan, he had the exact same, kind of reinforcing eval. Not that it's, because he agrees with you that makes it right, but it's just a reinforcement that you got two sets of eyes seeing the exact same thing. Then he said, I want you to look at this kid. He sent me a running back from Arizona State, a portal kid from the West Point, from Army to Arizona State. He's 6'1", 220. And I'm watching this kid, and apparently he's going to Liberty. And I'm watching this kid, and I text him back. I go, this kid is fantastic. He's an NFL, definite power 4, upper echelon running back. It can catch a ball, gets lost in the protections, but he really talented kid. And he's going to Liberty. You talk about, and he's got to be, I like that he's a smart kid. He went to the Army, the military academy. You can't just walk in there. So it was kind of interesting to see these guys, get in the portal. And here's a kid that's going to Liberty that I don't know why. I'd like to know. I'd like to find out. I may end up going to Liberty's practice just to watch him, see what he's doing. Because you talk about, I'd open the bank up for this kid, as opposed to the 5'8" kid that's going to UVA from Middle Tennessee. Not because he's in Arizona State either. He's 6'1", 220 pounds, and he is a talented young man. And, so really, we were talking about all the, the portal. It's nuts. It's nuts. People are signing kids and giving kids money. I'm sitting there going, why? I couldn't see it. The mistakes they're making today are, as much as success a lot of kids are having. I'll tell you, now you're dealing with draft choices, giving them money. You better be right on these kids.
Right. When do you think they'd be more? When do you think they'd be more determined to make sure they made the right decision on evaluation because they are going to spend right? It just contradicts itself, doesn't it?
No question, Rick. That was, our conversations. We were talking about it. We said, this is nuts. This is nuts. Why? I don't care about the height. The height doesn't bother me at 5'8", 5'9". Okay. But what concerns me is, okay, I would ask the question, if he's a third, if he's not in the 2 deep, if he's not getting at least 12 carries a game, 10 to 15 carries a game, being productive, and all of a sudden his role starts to diminish. Then you have a staff meeting and say, hey, would you take him, Phil? Would you take him on defense? No. That's the question that needs to be asked. If he's not a running back, where else could he go? So you're not eating money. You're eating money. You're taking money and flushing it down the toilet if he's the third back.
Right.
Now, he may be the starter. He may be All-American, maybe All-ACC. I hope so. For UVA's sake, I hope so. I'm going to go up and see him Saturday. I'm going to find out, with my own eyes. And that doesn't, because what I say or what I look at doesn't mean that, people should be, oh, geez, Phil said UVA busted out and the portal is running. No. I know this. That 6'1", 220-pound kid from Arizona State, I'm breaking the bank on that one. If I miss on that one, fine, you can fire me. I get it. I'd rather get fired over 6'1", 220 than 5'8", 190.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I can't wait for your UVA report. That'll be good. That'll be really good. Really good.
I don't know how I can pull it off, because Bill Durkin, the offensive line coach, Jamie Chadwell was at Coastal when I was there, and they've always been great to me when I go up there and visit. I haven't visited up there in a long time. So, but I may end up trying to swing by there. If he's at Liberty, I think he's at Liberty, but boy, he is one hell of a back.
Well, that'll be, and by the way, we need to remind people you're going to be doing great previews and then evaluations of what happened all season long, as you've done on Greg's show for a while, right? That's going to be great for Virginia Tech games. That's going to be awesome for our Tech.
Starting when is the 19th of a couple of weeks, I'll be starting with Greg. I'll be on the Greg Roberts 5:30. It's only about 20 minutes of eval from 5:30 to 6. Now I'm going to be in studio Thursday. When I get to Roanoke and I'm in studio, I'll be there from 5 to 6:30. And this coming Thursday evening, we'll probably talk about UVA, Virginia Tech, particularly the portal kids, which impact players, which I made my list of what I consider impact players for the season, And, the thing is, Rick, you think about Virginia Tech, and I can see why the cautious optimism from Coach Franklin. You look at his portal kids, a lot of them from Penn State, not all of them, but redshirt freshmen, or they were freshmen and sophomores. There were very few juniors, and I don't think he brought a senior there, with eligibility. But most of the kids were first or second year players that he brought from Penn State. Then you got the freshman class. And like I said, a lot of people, when I got to Tech in '93, I was always told, you got 7 starting returners on defense. I go, to beat Temple and JMU, I don't need any one of them. I'm not excited about that, okay? I got 7 guys that returned that beat Temple and JMU and got their ass. So, to say anybody's returning from Virginia Tech that won 3 games and got woodshedded by ODU, they better show me great improvement. Trust me. They better go see the Wizard. Go see the Wizard. So, because, he's going to have you talk about a young team, it's going to be Grunkmeyer's only a freshman, a sophomore. He's had 7 starts. That's all he's had is 7 starts. And I told you, you watch the Iowa game, and you could see his inexperience in the Iowa game. It really exposed itself, that game. Now, the other games, no. But that game, so he's got to do a lot of maturing, and I'm sure he will as he gets into his second year, and it should be a lot of fun, to do that. I think the wide receiver from Duke, he's a gamer. He'll change the game, the transfer from Duke.
Yes,
tight end from Penn State will change the game. I don't know if any of those guys on defense you can talk about in the same breath as you can about the receiver from Duke or the tight end from Penn State. Where on defense could you have that same conversation about some of their players? As he called them, erasers. That's the first time I ever heard that term. But where's Cornell Brown over there? Where's Corey Moore?
I'm with you.
All those?
Yeah, right.
I can see why they're cautiously he's cautiously optimistic. And I'm not getting into the wins and losses, because, college football today is to predict. Don't forget, Clemson was supposed to be in the national championship game last year. Picked number 1 in the conference. What a disaster that was.
Yes, they were. Phil Steele. Yeah, that's right. Yep.
Yeah. So I hope
didn't work out that way.
I hope he gets credibility back. I mean, I'll tell you, I will say one thing. Listening to him, I was kind of impressed. He still had a lot of confidence in his prognostications, even though last year. I mean, I don't know if I'd have published the book this year after last year. I may have folded it up.
He's been so accurate, so consistently. I guess he just figured, all right, I missed a big one last year. I had Clemson winning it all, but we're just going to keep on keeping on.
Welcome to college football in the portal, baby. That stuff.
That's right.
You know what I used when we were at Syracuse, and I did this at Virginia Tech in the 93, 94. We were at Syracuse our first year there. We had beaten Ohio State in the Hall of Fame Bowl and beat Florida. We had some great wins, great team. Lost to Florida State at 11-0 East Carolina team, which we should have beaten. But we're going to the next year. Kevin Coyle did a great job. He got all those magazines, and we were on the Syracuse was on the cover, and because we're going into the 2000 the 1990 2000 and God, I got my years all screwed up. This is 90, not 90, 80, 89, 2000, whatever. I can't remember the years. Concussion syndrome, Rick. Too much bull in the ring.
I understand.
But all of a sudden, we had a big trash can. And we had everybody, the first team meeting, Kevin Coyle, our D coordinator, he had everybody gave a copy of every one of those magazines, maybe even Phil Steele's magazine, with Marvin Graves on the cover and all these great players. And defense, we were really good. We were nationally ranked on defense. We had a lot of kids coming back. So he sat there and he had everybody open the page and read all their accolades. And he said, now, see that trash can? Everybody pick up the magazines and throw it in the trash.
Throw them away.
Throw it away.
Just get rid of it.
Yeah, like Nick called it rat poison, and Coach Pasqualoni said it's like poison. You swallow it, you're going to die. So it was so you got to, so I'm looking forward to see what they're going to do this year, and it'll be interesting. He's got a young football team, very young football team, so. Hey, by the way, my Red Sox, baby, took 3 from the Dodgers.
They did. That's good. Anybody who beats the Dodgers is good. Yep. Right.
4 home runs, Rick. They had 4 home runs in one game. 4 in one game. They're 31-6 since June 19th. 31-6. Huge. They've gone from 14 down. They're 5 out.
They might be the West. They might be the best team in the American League right now.
They are
right now.
From June, best record in baseball from June 19th on. They lost 5 games since June 19th. The month of July, they're like 21-3.
Roll Sox, roll.
Oh yeah, no, it's like wow. And they got a manager that they brought up from the AAA league. That knew, and what's interesting, I didn't realize this. The announcers were saying they brought him up and gave him the keys of the building, but he was the AAA manager that knew every one of these players.
And that's right.
He developed a lot of these players.
Yep.
Think about that, Rick.
It'll be the last year of baseball for a while, I think.
You know what? I don't care. As long as they win the series this year, I hope they get to the series, win the damn thing, and they shut it down.
They shut it down. You can enjoy it the whole 2027 without a season. Yeah.
Hey, there you go.
There you go. Well, great stuff as always, Coach. I'm sure we'll see you on Friday.
It'll be a lot of fun as usual, and I'll be up on the river Friday. If you want to get on Friday morning, no problems up. But I'm going to hit the river right after. So.
All right. Well, tell Greg I said hello when you see him.
Hey, by the way, tell Todd good luck.
I will. Yeah, he's going to be interested to get his thoughts. They're on the cusp. I think they start tomorrow.
Yeah.
It's here.
Yeah. I gotta tell you what, I start thinking about that, and I go, how the hell did I do that for 40 years?
I bet.
Honestly,
Yeah, you look at it now and like, I could not imagine doing it now.
Oh, no way.
No way.
No way. I mean, you talk about it. I call it intelligent ignorance. I mean, you just, Jesus. All right, Rick.
All right. We'll see you, Coach. Have a good day, man. We'll see you later in the week. All right. There you go. Coach Elbow here on the program. Good stuff from him as always. Yeah, we're working on Todd Greta, by the way. I mean, not Todd Greta, Jack Turner. Everybody asked me about Jack. Jack and I worked on, sorry about that, Coach. Jack and I worked on that yesterday. We could not get him hooked up, so we're working on getting Jack hooked up. Family Fencing, sponsor of our studios, 540-200-8294. For some reason, his phone is automatically blocking the prompts from StreamYard, which is the studio that I use. So I think we're going to have to do it via his laptop once he gets to school one day. We'll figure it out. Thanks to Family Fencing coming back year number 2 as well. McClellan Chiropractic, thanks to them. Mark Hunley, 155 Walters Drive. Appreciate all of his fine assistance. Jonathan Sweet's going to join us at 7:30 from Pulaski County Sports and Entertainment. Our title sponsor, who will also return as our title sponsor, thanks to them. And we look forward to getting caught up on Jet Ski Weekend. Little River Heating and Air, 1095 Radford Street in Christiansburg, 540-553-2971. Looking for our attorney, Ryan Pry. BDST fan question of the week. What's it going to be? Trust and estate planning. Y'all have done such a great job the last couple of weeks. I'm just going to let you roll with it for a little bit. We've got to have it by the end of the day or tomorrow morning, though. National Bank member FDIC, the exclusive banking partner, BDST here on YouTube. 35 years that I've been with them. Congrats to Larry Ramsey doing a great job as the new president. Professional Door Incorporated, hope you took advantage of celebrating 40 years in July, 40 years in business for them. Residential, commercial garage doors, family owned and operated. You can reach out to them daily, 540-674-0008, sponsor of our text line. ReadySetFund.com. Reach out to Bob Christ 11 at Gmail and read up on the Ready Set Fund if you need some funds for new uniforms, equipment, whatever it might be for your team. Sundown Electric, excellent reputation, one of the best client satisfactory responses that you're going to find of any business down in Elliston. They always keep pricing down, and they leave no stone unturned. Just like the NRV Super Bowl, who hosted us for our bash. 540-382-5525 leagues are forming, men's, women's, mixed, and also for kids. Lawson's Mobile Home Supply, 300 North Franklin Street in Christiansburg. Give James a call, 540-381-8011. Manufactured parts for your home. Yes, have some. All right, so I'm going to do this. Is it this one? No, it's this one. There we go. I'm going to do this, and we're going to look at this. All right, there's your 2026 Virginia Tech football schedule. And I put this up here because you see what Vegas is saying right now. This was updated over the weekend. God, I hate that stripe. Let's hope that stripe does not stay on the helmet. Over and under on the win total, 6.5. ACC championship odds, 25 plus 2,500. And of course, your Natty hopes plus 40 grand. That's what Wayne bet on, right? Wayne, didn't you put money? No, Jen did that with South Carolina. That's right. So that's the latest thing that came out this weekend. I'm not sure exactly which. If this is, what is it, Kashi? I don't know who did this. If it was FanDuel, I don't know. Caesar Sportsbook. One of the folks put that out this weekend. What do you think? You think that's a good one, Brandon, for our BDST fan question of the week? Your pick for the college football national championship game winner? Yeah, okay, I tell you what, we'll make that a candidate. How's that? Maybe that'll be a candidate for our question of the week. I like that. I like that. But anyway, there you go. There's the latest. I don't know. Again, I'm not sure exactly where that's from. But there you go. With the schedule to the left, I do like the way they put the opposing team's colors in the schedule. That's kind of cool. And then you can see it. First two aren't very sexy at all. And I got a feeling that's going to be the trend under Franklin. You know, next year it's Citadel and Liberty. They're going to have two openers every year that are going to be underwhelming, probably. Yeah. But I think 6.5 feels like it's a little low to me. I had them 7-5, so I was around that. That number 3 game is the game right there, Maryland, which we've talked about. And then you go right back on the road in the Northeast as well, a little further up when you go to Chestnut Hill for the first conference game under James Franklin. And then that Friday night game against Pitt's going to be wild. But you can see a world where Virginia Tech navigates those first 4 games, that first month, 4-0, if things fall into place. Pitt's got 4 home games, and this right here, that, well, you can't see me pointing the arrow at it, so I don't know why I'm pointing the arrow at it thinking you can see it. But that Pitt game could very well be 2 4-0 teams. Could happen. I had Tech 3-1. I had them losing to Maryland, although I would not be utterly surprised to see them win it. I don't know what Maryland's how they're gonna respond. That's a desperate coaching staff here in 2026. You're just starting a new coaching staff in Blacksburg. There's a difference in mindset completely. You know, Narduzzi's going to bring a flying defense and a lot of solid running backs and a good offensive line. California's a crapshoot type of game there on the road against a very good quarterback. Never know how the jet lag is going to affect you. How stupid is it that both of those teams are in the ACC, and how dumb is it that Tech plays both this year? Georgia Tech, always a battle. A lot of people really like Georgia Tech. Phil Steele has them pretty high, right? 4th, we'll see. I think losing Haynes King is a massive, massive thing to get over. Clemson, I know it's Clemson on the road. I know nothing about Clemson. I mean, I've read their bio. I know what they're supposed to be. It doesn't feel like, unless he's just sandbagging, like I got accused of doing in my bowling prowess. Dabo doesn't seem very excited about his quarterback. SMU on the road, that's going to be what it is. Stanford likely will not be much resistance at all. They don't care about football at all anymore at Palo Alto. And then the Miami-Virginia game. So there you go, 6.5. That's why I put this up there. I thought it was interesting. And however you want to see it and whatever you think about it, who knows? But I guess I'm going to do my best to throw myself into just worried about game results and talking about the games. I'm going to try to suspend belief. Try not to allow all the issues and the constant, it just seems like it's just the framework of everything is completely shattered. And I guess I'm just going to have to try to keep a linear focus. I know people don't want to continue to always be reminded of the negativity. So I'm going to do the best I can to make the games and what we're watching as fans the thing that we focus on once we get going. Brandon says, I don't accuse Rick, I just speak facts. Bowling game was 100% safe. Wayne says we will have a 2,000-yard passer this year. Should, but. So I'm going to do my best just to focus on football. I get tired of having to address these things, but I know it's important to people. You can't treat the audience like they're not intelligent enough to understand everything that's happening. So we do have to talk about it. And when you saw what happened this weekend, it was ridiculous. But you're going to start seeing video tomorrow of Tech at practice. And you're going to start seeing formations and passes and coaches talking about the team developing. And this is where we kind of get lost in it. And it's the power of our love and our affinity for the game of American football. You know what? I'm not going to say American football. It's football. Soccer, you can do you, and you already done yourself here in this nation with the World Cup. I don't need to quantify it by saying American football. Football. It's our sport. I'm not going to feel guilty about trying to say that it's our sport. There's no American guilt. You can revel in soccer and football all you want. That's great. That's your sport. That's awesome. But there's a reason that our creation is what it is. Like you look around now, I mean, it is everyone in every community that has a Division I school, or especially here in our case, a power school, everyone's focused on the football season. High school football practice started late last week. Everybody gets excited to see high school football practices start. And that's why you just shake your finger and shame on everybody who's trying to completely destroy it all, from the NFL on down. Without, any result in any way, shape, or form turning out in a positive manner at all. But we'll try to focus on the games now from a Tech perspective. The opener is going to be what it is. The first game for James Franklin in Blacksburg on a Saturday night should not be against VM. Now, you can defend it all you want. You can try to say things that aren't true, that was always the opener. No, they had a choice. They made their choice. That should have been James Madison. And then we'd have a whole different vibe going into opening night, right? Billy Napier versus James Franklin. Former college football participant from last year coming into Blacksburg. It would have been a storyline that would have just... You're talking about trying to raise money. You're talking about trying to make awareness about all these fundraisers you're hiring and all this conversation about trying to more. You open up with JMU, you pull out a win, you have an opportunity you know how excited people would have been. Now you're going to have people excited for the kickoff of football season. You're going to have people excited to see James Franklin there and Ethan Grunkmeyer and all these players. But then, midway through the second quarter, when the game is no longer a functioning contest, you're going to go, okay, time to start drinking more. And I don't think it would have been that way if it would have been the Dukes. But anticlimactic is a good phrase to use. And I know people will say, hey, it would not have benefited Tech to play that game. Tech gains nothing. They could have lost a lot. Okay. What kind of a message is that sending? Well, we might lose it. Could possibly lose it. Let's just not play it. And I know the cadets, I saw a nice article about their new coaching staff, and I hope they ended up, improving. Can't get much worse than where they were headed. Now that coach is on Tech staff. So maybe it'll start to turn the corner. Maybe a game like that puts them in the right direction. But no matter what the score is at the end of that game, it's going to help VMI a lot more than it's going to help Virginia Tech going forward in terms of competition level and who you're playing. Who does Old Dominion open up with? Now that we're sitting here having football conversations, who does Old Dominion open with? Anybody know? Page 284 in the Phil Steele College Football Magazine. Hey, only $25. It's yours. Norfolk State. Oh, look at Mike Vick. Okay, so neither team's going to have... I think Michael Vick is going to have a better football team, but probably not going to go well in that opener against Old Dominion. So both teams are coming in to that game really kind of unchallenged. I guess it helps organize your new team, though. New quarterback, a lot of new offensive personnel at ODU. And the same thing for Tech. You're getting personnel on the field and getting them there in front of the home crowd, at least. It's the sport of kings, better than diamond rings. Football. All right, so I've had 5 people ask me, hey, you dropped that little comment in there about seeing Brand New Day. Now people want me to talk about the movie. It's tough. You don't want to spoil it. It just came out, and I don't want to be spoiler guy. If you're going to do spoilers, you need to say, okay, spoilers are happening now. So I don't want to do that right now. The good parts. I'll be generic as possible. Great action. You see Spider-Man doing things that embody Spider-Man from the comics to earlier movies. It's by far Tom Holland's best embodiment of Spider-Man and Peter Parker. It's like he's finally made it his own. I didn't think that was the case in the first 3 movies. So he's good in it. The problems that I have with it, and there are a lot, have nothing to do with Tom Holland. He was good. He was good. Lots of false advertising about villains who are in the movie. The one antagonist makes 0 sense. I will not reveal who it is if you haven't seen it. I do not want to be spoiler guy. Is it better than anything? And this isn't, everybody says this is an MCU movie. It's not. It's a Sony movie. Sony owns the rights to Spider-Man. Marvel, Disney, they get 25% of the cut. So this is really a Sony movie, but there is a collaboration there. Rick wanted more romance in Spider-Man. I'll say this, and I guess because they're husband and wife, Tom Holland and Zendaya have to be in every movie together. I was hoping that they would just, and I knew that wasn't the case when I saw some early things, but I wish they'd have just gotten rid of, that's not Mary Jane, by the way. Her MJ is not Mary Jane. I wish they'd have just cut ties with her and Ned, he was never close to Ned in the books. That whole thing, him pining away constantly for that, just didn't need to be there. They could have just started anew without them. Because I think Tom Holland's performance is strong enough to where he didn't need that aspect of it. Bring other characters in. Jay Jonah, where's he? Where's the people he worked for at the Bugle? Develop Peter Parker more. They didn't do that. But what I think I'm going to do is on Pop, I'll get into it more, and then I'll have like a spoiler thing up, and I'll talk about it with spoilers if you want to watch. Is it worth seeing? Yes. If you like those kind of movies, yes. I do not regret seeing it. But I'm not, because it's the most immediate thing, people are going way overboard praising this movie. It doesn't deserve that. But it is a genuine effort. I will say that. It is. But there are some things that make zero sense. But Tom Holland is good in it as Spider-Man. He's going through a lot of stuff in that one. I just wish some of it wasn't always going back to the relationships he lost because they had the spell put on, which never made any sense either. Really lame summer movies. Yeah, now there's nothing. Like right after this, now the Odyssey's going to do $1 billion. I think once the numbers come in today, we're going to find out that Brand New Day did $1 billion worldwide in an opening weekend. I know inflation. That's amazing. Bigfoot thing comes out in October, I believe, Wayne. It's kind of weird. They don't have a service yet that it's going to show up on. But there seems to be October agreement that's coming out. I would guess on Amazon or Netflix or Paramount or something of that. But we're still waiting. Still waiting to find out where and the exact date. It's been kind of weird. Look, and I'm not saying that what they're claiming in that documentary, and there's no spoilers needed here, they're claiming that they have proof that the Patterson-Gimlin footage, the most watched 59 seconds of film ever, Patty taking a stroll across the California woodlands, is a hoax. And I would think something that large would have gotten more publicity once it hooked up with a streaming service. That seems pretty significant to me. So I don't understand why it's continued to be such a low-key thing after the Harryman Road channel still going off about how this completely disproves Patty and all that. And it might, and I want to see it. And if it does, I will come on and say, guess what? It does. But if it were that definitive, I would have thought, and I don't know the time frame, maybe this is how it works. They release the film in certain private theaters down in Texas for about a week and a half. Selected people got invited. And maybe this is how documentaries work. I don't know. But what are we looking at now? You got April, May, June, July, August. It's going to be 6 months after its debut that it finally makes. That seems like a long time to me. BDST viewing in Reiner at night. You know, I probably, you can't show it on screen. Like you can't, I know that for a fact. Like you can't show, like when it's happening. You can talk about it, sure. Yeah, we could plan that. Yeah, we could plan that. I mean, I've got the TV right there. We could plan that. But we'll see what it is. We'll see if it ends up being that. I don't know. I don't think it's because of lack of interest. I think people care about the topic. And I'll tell you one thing. If it does prove that the Patterson-Gimlin footage was a hoax, you think about 60 years that thing has gone on, and we've seen both sides of it. Jeff Meldrum, God rest his soul, is apparently shown in the movie, and they claim, well, this changes everything, that it kind of devastated him. I don't know if that's the case or not, but I know he passed away shortly after. And sometimes it's been such a large part of his life that maybe, just maybe, that ended up destroying him. I don't know. I just don't know. So we'll see. We'll see. But yeah, it's worth seeing. Those of you that are hitting me up on the professional door text line, yeah, go see it. If you want to go see it, go see it. Spider-Man, I mean. Yeah. Yeah. I don't go into any movie now with any kind of big expectations, because I know what Hollywood represents. But there was a genuine effort there to tell a Spider-Man story. It just gets clogged up with way too many side characters, and really no explanation or development of the biggest antagonist in the movie, who just turns out to be pure evil when this character has never been that. And I get so tired of the Ned MJ stuff. I think they should have just introduced Gwen Stacy, or the real Mary Jane, or the Black Cat. Over here in Christiansburg, Wayne. So, and they're not in any IMAX right now. The Odyssey still has the IMAX theater, so it did all that, $1 billion without IMAX. How about that? They are. It's always a good experience at the theater in Christiansburg. Absolutely. And yes, by the way, it was packed out. It was. There were a lot of people there. A lot of people there. So, but go see it. Go see it. It's definitely not Supergirl, which is inarguably one of the 5 worst movies I've ever seen in my life. By the way, it has surpassed, the weekend for Brand New Day has already surpassed the combined money of James Gunn's Superman and Supergirl. Total box office. Was I signing no, I was not signing autographs. No one cared that I was there. Now, David, you're asking me questions that's going to get into spoiler territory, so I don't want to do that. I'm just giving generic overviews. If I get into more details, it might happen Thursday on Pop, and I'll say, okay, here come the spoilers, and I'll put spoiler alert on the screen, and then you can just, prepare yourself. And you may not care enough. It may not matter to you. No, the end credit scene is not worth staying for. No. It's silly, actually. But I can't talk about that either. So, Todd Grantham comes up in about 20 minutes. Looking forward to that. But good stuff. But go see it. Have a great time. Always having a great time is this gentleman, Jonathan Sweet. Pulaski County Sports Entertainment, our title sponsor, that will continue on here in year 2. We're excited about that. And look, you know why he's smiling? Because he was out on the lake all weekend. What's up, brother? How are you?
I'm exhausted, Rick. I'll tell you how I am.
I bet you are. I
played a lot.
Talk about it, man. How was it? You played a lot. Well, I know a lot. Yeah, to give us a rundown. I know how excited you were. Congratulations, man. I know you had folks coming from all over the country to Claytor Lake this weekend.
We did. The American Jet Sports Association was back, and they were back in a big fashion. We had a great time with these guys. Racers, professional racers from all over the country were in. But Friday, we started with a corporate challenge. Would love to have had the big dog out there racing some jet skis. We had a call out.
Yeah.
We had the call out this year where we of course competed as teams to raise money for ACE, Access to Community College Education at New River Community College. But we had call outs where we had individuals call other individuals out for some bling, some big hardware around the neck if you won. And I got to say, Rick, got to brag a little bit. I went 4 for 4 this Friday.
Hey, of course you did. Of course you did.
It was a great time. We raised some money for ACE. We had some fun. It was great networking. We had 13 teams, 4 to 5 riders per team. Great showing. But on Saturday and Sunday, these guys showed off. There's a lot of talent that comes in for jet skiing, and I got to experience it on Sunday. I rode in the Moto 6, the roundabouts, and had about 12 riders in that class. And oh my goodness, they showed me why they're professionals and I'm not.
What kind of things are they doing? I can imagine they're doing all these kind of trick things and just like second nature to them, right? It's got to be. It's got to be.
Yeah, they're doing tricks. There's a trick display where they're doing flips and twists, and they're doing submarines. I mean, they're doing all kind of things. But when we're racing, it's side by side racing around buoys, and in some cases, 60 miles an hour. And it's choppy and it's intense, to say the least.
Did you hang in there with them though? Did you do your own tricks when you were out there? I mean, did you?
No, I raced hard. I no tricks for me. I just want to stay on the ski. I caught a couple of guys. I got bumped a couple of times on some turns. It woke me up, to say the least. That's what makes it entertaining. That's the entertainment part of sports, right? That's why you want to come out and watch.
Yeah, exactly. And people watching, I mean, it's just the kind of thing you watch. I'm intrigued by stuff like that, Jonathan, because it's something I know I couldn't do. So I just watch people and just, like you said, marvel at the fact that they've dedicated themselves to become that good at something that I can ever imagine myself doing. Right. It's cool. It's cool.
Absolutely. It's like experiencing the oval, going around the track's pretty, anyone can do it pretty much, going around the track pretty fast. But when you put other cars around the track with you, it changes the dynamic. Same thing with jet skis. Got a lot of respect for these guys. The state park was great. The community college was great. Tim Miller and his team, Erica Tolbert, there. Everybody, you talk about a sophisticated operation. It went off without a hitch. No one got hurt, and it was just good, clean fun. And yeah, we raised some money.
Good. Well, congratulations, man. That was a big deal. We've been talking about leading up to it, and that's awesome. And then here are the River Turtles sneaking in the back door right there, playing for a championship on the weekend too. They didn't come through with the dub, but man, what a great finish to the season. They had more momentum for Pulaski County.
Absolutely. What a great season. I'm so proud of the Turtles. And the whole Sheila organization, Motomile organization, and the River Turtles back office to the players. Just a great season. We're so thankful that it converged to historic Calfee Park, and I think we showed why we've got one of the top ballparks in the nation. It just hosts games like that so wonderfully. Great crowd, great enthusiasm, and we didn't lose. We didn't win, but we didn't lose. It was 8-8 in the 9th inning. We went to sudden death rules. We hate sudden death rules. They didn't work out in our favor, and we ended up coming in second place.
What are along those lines? Because I saw the score. What sudden death rules did they have when an 8-8 baseball game?
Right, it's an 8-8 baseball game. So that sudden death rule, they put one runner on first base, and if they can hold the runner from scoring, you get 3 outs, then the game is over. So we lost the coin toss. We had a runner on first. They held us, and they won. So anticlimactic. I know you were expecting something a little more exciting. The game was amazing. There was 23 hits in the game. 8-8 finish score. I mean, you talk about exciting. Several home runs. Proud of the Turtles. They played hard.
Did they explain why they just don't play extra innings? I mean,
No,
it's the last game of the year, right?
They will explain. We want to know why. No, it eventually the game has to end, unfortunately. These guys got to get back to school. We've got to finish the night, and there's, I guess, noise ordinances to letting off fireworks. I don't know, but the game had to end. So, but what a great season! I'm not going to take anything away from the Turtles. We didn't get the hardware, but yeah, they deserved. They deserve to be co-champions, in my opinion.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely, yeah. Because like you said, it was 8-8. They didn't really lose, so Anyway,
unfortunately, Rick, my opinion doesn't matter, but it is my opinion nonetheless.
Well, I haven't visited with you since you and I did the walkthrough and then the video up at the Forge, and I'm telling you, man, I was blown away. I don't know, every time you turned around after you explained something, you probably saw my face. That's the genuine look people are going to have when this thing's ready to rock and roll. Yeah, and then here you are going in every room, every nook and cranny, and here's John able to explain exactly how it's going to look. And I was just like, wow, that's crazy. But man, it's really coming along. It looked great.
Yeah, you get to see the scale of that thing and then realize what we've got, what we can do with it. And we were just scratching the surface with what we're going to be, what I was explaining, because we don't know what we don't know yet, right? We get in there and we say, hey, we can use it for this too, and expand into this space and provide this offering or program. It's really a blank canvas. We're trying to envision what it can be. But until it's finished and we've got operations taking place in there, we understand what the demand of the community is, what the demand of the marketplace is, what our talent can produce. We really don't know the full depth of what that facility can yield. But what we do know is it's going to be enjoyed by every single age group. Every taste of athlete or of sportsmen or whatever, just fill in the blank. It's going to be so versatile. And then the operations far reaching into travel sports. Who knows what we're going to be bringing there, whether it's cheerleading or wrestling or boxing or, of course, basketball and volleyball. Those are easy. But we see pickleball and cornhole and who knows, maybe ESPN Ocho, right? We're going to have some of those types of activities in there because the facility sets up really well for that.
Well, that's the thing. You're going to keep peeling back the layers of all the things it's going to bring and do. But then you think about it from a community standpoint, and that stuff's going to be present every day from the get-go. That the giving back immediately to people who want to come up and take care of themselves and get involved. That's exciting. It's two different layers in the same building, right? It's just two different opportunities, and that's what's great about it. So
that's right. And what a lot of communities don't have, they might have I can't say they have a similar facility because nothing is like this. But say they do have a similar facility, what they don't have is the back office that goes with it. And so what we've been building is the infrastructure and the back office to really be able to enterprise this and commercialize this on the weekends that help generate the direct, indirect, and residual revenues that we need to afford really nice things and not burden our membership with costs and not burden our taxpayers with taxes, but to really cover the overhead and operations of the facility. And, we have a target. We want to be cash flowing in the black within 3 years. And we think that's very, very doable based upon our business approach.
Yeah, 100%. And the way you explained it to me, I could see that happening even sooner, to be honest with you.
We want to see that. Yeah, we want to get ahead of that. But yeah, we said 3 years, but we think it's possible that we get a little quicker than that. You saw that, Rick, when you were touring. Possibility.
Yeah, yeah. It's going to be the happy place for a lot of people. I can tell already. Like the people there who were working were happy. Just like, yeah, this is gonna be that place.
You guys will love this. Rick got his steps in on that tour. So
I did.
he's just behind that microphone a lot, but let me tell you, he got his steps in when we toured that facility. We walked the whole thing.
And the track area, it's going to be so people can. It's just I loved it. I love it. And you're going to be around cool atmosphere too, which is what I like too. It just kind of encourages the walk along for people, especially if you're a little older. Have that kind of energy around you while you're taking your walk. Those kind of things are subtle, but they're very important. Very important.
Absolutely. That place is going to be synergistic where energy feeds energy in there, with the cardio room feeding the arena and vice versa. It's a special place that we think is going to keep our folks not only physically healthy, but socially and mentally healthy as well.
Well, and as we discussed in year two, I want to get up there. I want to do some stuff. Once you get a little further progression, once there are events coming in, we're going to do some things. I think to show people and do a preview. I'd like to do that. As we get into it, as this thing continues to get more and more completed as we go along, all the different levels of that. So I think that would be fun to show people. So.
Absolutely, yeah. Particularly some of those interesting activities where we got big crowds and
yeah,
they're not the traditional type sports that you can really expand your repertoire of of sports talk, right?
Absolutely. You could even get in there and just do coverage of the golf simulator, right?
Absolutely.
You could do that.
Yes, Jonathan Sweet made a birdie on hole double B.
Yeah.
All right, Jonathan Sweet had another double bogey on hole 4 on double B. That's more like it.
It's going to be great, man. And listen, thanks for jumping on. Congratulations for everything. I was excited about the weekend. I know you had a great turnout. I know you had great response. And here are the Turtles playing for a championship. And what's coming up next now? What else you got on the horizon here? What are you guys planning?
So we've got that Mountain X race coming up. We were going to have riders, professional riders. That 100-mile track is for the professionals. Big purse involved. I think it was 20 or 30,000. I think is going to male and female professional riders who place, and that's all going to be split evenly. And that's going to bring a big draw in. Probably going to exceed our expectations with the size, but we're prepared for that. We're working with all of our neighboring jurisdictions. Tim Miller. That's his niche. I mean, he knows cycling. That's why I'm really excited about that event.
Yeah,
he's really dialed that up. So that's going to be one to watch. It's really hard to spectate unless you're at the finish line, and of course. There are a lot of activities associated with that, for the riders and families and teams and spectators. Big Wilderness Brewing Big Great Wilderness Brewing is hosting some events there at their new facility in Pulaski. Lots going on around that, but if you want to see some professional cyclists, this is where you'll see them. You don't have to go far. You just come to downtown Pulaski or take up seat along that 100-mile stretch of track.
Yeah. Oh, that'll be so cool. Just another opportunity for folks. So, well, you going to get some rest this week, or you're just going right back to it, aren't you? You're just jumping right back in it, aren't you?
It's Monday, right? I'm back at work. I'm back checking boxes and then making things happen. So no rest for the weary. I'm still actually operating off a little bit of adrenaline from the weekend.
Sure.
So that should carry me through. But I look forward to seeing my team and debriefing with them on all the activities from the weekend and, working on the next exciting sports tourism entertainment initiative that we've got coming up.
Yeah, that's a great point. The further education from you and your team, right? Every time you have an event like this, what went well, what didn't do well, what can we do different? That's invaluable, isn't it? As you plan ahead, it really is.
That's how you just really stay on top of these types of events and making them better every year, better for the athletes and competitors, but also better for the fans as well and the spectators. better for the local economy. I mean, we look at the local economy as well. You know, how can we really incorporate more business opportunities and business showcases, et cetera. And then when we do things like AJSA jet skis, it's also, you know, how can we raise more money for ACE and our graduating seniors to go to community college at no cost? What can we do to make to make that more impactful? So all the way around, we look at it holistically. That's what really I think makes our business model work, is that we understand this industry, but we also have a purpose-driven approach as well, beyond a profit-driven. We really want to take care of our community, our citizens, and our businesses. So, yeah, I love debriefing with the team and just continue to dial these things up.
Well, listen, man, congratulations again, and thanks for taking the time to jump on to kind of recap the weekend, and for all you guys' continued support of the program. Man, you're the best, man. Congratulations on everything.
I'd be remiss, Big Dog, if I didn't just shout out to my board of supervisors and the Sports Tourism Entertainment Authority. You know, if they weren't as cool as they were, and they didn't say, "Hey, let's take some risks, let's be bold, let's go beyond where normal local governments go. You know, let's create a industry within our governmental operations, a new industry, and really focus on something that benefits the community as a whole." This wouldn't be possible. So I am so thankful they don't put me on a short leash or tell our team that we can't think big. They are the biggest supporters, and we greatly appreciate it. And yeah, it's not possible without them.
Absolutely, man. Team effort, right? Everything. Heading into football season, we're reminded of that even more and more. So absolutely, 100%, 100%. Well, have a great debriefing, man. Congratulations on everything, Jonathan, this weekend.
Thanks, Big Dog. See you soon.
All right, yeah, no doubt you will, brother. Take care, man. Appreciate you, man. All right, there you go. Jonathan Sweet, he's the Chief Administrative Officer, Pulaski County, and, of course, Pulaski County Sports Entertainment. Awesome stuff, man. I know it was a big success, and he pours himself into it, and I'm sure he was out there trying to emulate everything the professionals were doing. What's up, Chris Lester? Good to see you. Good to see you. Yeah, hopefully Low Country, yeah, that'll be something too with the family membership thing. Yeah, maybe that'll be something that might develop further too, you know. Todd Grantham going to join us here momentarily, defensive coordinator at UAB. We're getting into it now, man. We're getting into it now. You got practice starting. Let me get Creed in real quick, and then we're getting ready to go. So much going on. So much going on. I got a couple text messages we're going to talk about. I know, right, Morris? Morris says, love Mr. Sweet, always smiling so big. So he could bananas. Yeah, and that's genuine, man. He's got that enthusiasm. Yep. Be right back. All right, we made it. A couple text messages we're going to get into here from our Professional Door text line, which is popping as always. Professional Door, I hope you took advantage of their 40-year anniversary to get $40 off your preventative maintenance. Hope you did that. Eric says, looking at the Tech schedule, I could see at least 8 wins. I know you had 7 and 5. Yeah, and I said that too. I'm not going to hedge on it. I did say 7 wins, but I could see 8 and 4. Now, Barry says he sees it differently. Rick, love the show. Try to catch it when I can every morning. Thank you, Barry. Appreciate that. I am one that could see Tech winning the first 4 games of the year, and then really honestly, looking at the schedule, you can make an argument they could lose 7 out of the 8. He goes, I can see 5-7 on the year. Well, you know what? I'm not going to criticize your opinion. I wonder if I can do it like this. Let's see. Does that work? No, I got to do it like this. There you go. So he's saying VMI, ODU, Maryland, BC could see winning those. And then I guess Stanford, Barry, is that the one you're looking at? Stanford being the other game that they could win, 5-7. If that's what you're talking about, I'm guessing that would be Stanford at home. Yeah. Hey, nothing wrong with that, Barry. That's fine, man. That's your opinion. Yeah, no doubt. We always value the opinion of our next guest. There he is, defensive coordinator of the UAB Blazers. By the way, the Dragon, one of the top mascot logos in college sports. We saw a chart. What's up, Coach Grantham? How are you?
It's one of the top tier, huh? So we got to make that thing last. So.
Well, here we are, man. You're on the eve right now. Preparations have come together. I mean, here we are. Day one is upon us here for UAB practice.
Yeah, we actually started last night. Good meeting. You have your administrative team meetings. It was really good. Just, I'd only been away from the guys for 4 weeks, but, that seems like an eternity when you're in what we do. But it was really good. In our team meeting, we kind of went over things as a team that are important. I thought Coach Mortensen did a really good job of collectively bringing them together. And, at the end of the day, he said, hey, man, look, he goes, there's 4 things we always want to do. He goes, number one, we want to work hard, which really starts the foundation of what you're doing. Next thing is you want to play hard. And then after that, you want to play smart, which playing smart entails discipline, okay, and, accountability and poise. You got to have poise, okay? And then the last thing is play together. And those were the things. And then, just the whole belief thing. Belief's a powerful thing. And, believe that we can do what our mission is as the season goes on here. And the thing with belief is, it's interesting is, and I'm a big believer in that, is there was a study one time, there was these doctors that took 2 groups of people and they were going to do sleep deprivation. Okay. So how you would function with only say 4 hours of sleep. All right. So they had 2 groups of people and basically the first group would do their daily activities. They got their 4 hours sleep, but they were told, hey, this is really going to affect your cognitive tests. Now they tested everybody before the actual testing got started for a baseline of where they are. And the first group, they would tell, hey, this is really going to affect you. You're going to struggle. And we're really negative with it. Okay. And then the second group, okay, they basically were like, this isn't really a big deal. It's not going to affect you. You're fine. You're good. Okay. So at the end of the study, they do a test on their cognitive baseline to see where they are relative to the lack of sleep deprivation. And which group you think did much better? The group that was told, hey, it's going to be fine. You're fine. They did much better than the other group, which just goes to the point, belief's a powerful thing. So if people believe in what you're doing, you can get where you want to go. So, we'll start today. We're going to start the process, work hard. We're looking forward to it. Defensively, this is like the 5th time we started, our whole installation schedule. And, just thinking about it over the summer, I kind of went with a thing. There was a book out and it's called Chop Wood, Carry Water. Okay. And really the idea of it is, or the core idea is ordinary repetitive is necessary with discipline and patience. In other words, fall in love with the process. Okay. Being faithful to the small things, like focus on the things you can control. All right. So the things you control are your effort, your conditioning, knowing your assignment, blocking, tackling, block destruction, stripped attempts, all those kind of things. The problem is those things aren't sexy in society. Okay. So they're not glamorous. Okay. But the work required to do those things is pretty monotonous. And the biggest thing is we just tried to get across to our guys is, practice with the purpose, meet with the purpose, walk through with the purpose and do those things. And I was good. And then how are you going to separate yourself? In other words, everybody says they're working hard. Some people do work hard. Okay. Some people say they work hard. Maybe they don't work hard as others. But in other words, how are you going to separate yourself from people that do work hard? In other words, okay, I'm going to work hard, but what am I doing away from the building to make myself a better player? In other words, I need to stack nutrition, hydration, and sleep. Rest is very important. So your ability to stack those things on top of your hard work allow you to separate from somebody else. Okay. Well, the other thing is in practice, we give a lot of guys reps. All right. So you may only get 4 reps a rack. So that means there's 8 other reps in that rack that you're not getting. So are you going to be on the sidelines knowing the call and mentally taking the rep? Or are you just going to be bullshitting over here and not listening? And the way you get better is you mentally take the rep so that when your time comes, you can go perform, because it's all about performance. And really at the end of the day, my whole thing to them is how good can we be? Okay. How good can we be? And that's what camp is for. Okay. And practice with a purpose, meet with a purpose, and walk through with the purpose. And if we do those things, we'll go play anybody. So I'm excited. It'll be a process. Everybody's excited now, but we got to continue it as the grind begins. Because basically, we've got 3 full weeks, and then the 4th week we have up until Thursday. We'll go off on Monday. We'll practice Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday of that week, and then we'll take off on Friday, give them an off day, and then we start on Saturday as a Monday practice, because we play at Illinois on that Thursday on the Big Ten Network. So, we know that's going to be a challenge, but we're getting ready for the whole season and see what happens.
Well, and you mentioned sleep, and we just had during our all-staff meetings, our team doctor was showing us all these researches about the sleep and how teams' improvement is sometimes tied into the amount of rest that the players are getting, right? You're right. It's something it's crazy. It's crazy.
I mean, I've seen it at all level. I've seen guys in the National Football League, if you look, like you could take the bottom of the roster and you could take the last 10 guys on every roster, and you could go out in the United States, and I could find 50% of the people that would be as good as those guys. Okay. The difference is those guys did something to separate themselves from those people. And that's taking care of yourself, taking care of your body. And sleep is one of those things. Mike Gentry back in the day, he used to say that was when you grew, he was really right. Back when you were, lifting hard and all that, he goes, now's the time to grow. So you're growing as you rest and everything. So there's something to it. And you just got to be able to take advantage of all that stuff. So we're excited. We're looking forward to it. We just got to get ready to go.
What are and I don't know the rules. What are the rules that are in place? We talk about the NFL; they barely have any contact. Is that something that's up to each school, or what's the deal? How do you guys approach all that?
So they have an acclimation period. So like today, we're only in helmets. Tomorrow, we're in helmets. The third day, like you can add. So you add something every so often. So the first 2 days are helmets. The third day is shoulder pads. So you put the shoulder pads on. 4th day, shoulder pads. 5th day, full gear. Okay. And then you're acclimated from that standpoint. So I really like our schedule, because the way we're going to do it is we're going to go Monday, Tuesday, and we'll go hard. And then Wednesday is an off day. Now they'll still lift on the off day, and part of this is to maintain your strength. So we have our lifting schedule built in to our training camp, and we'll continue to do that. But for example, we'll practice Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday will be an off day. And on the off day, we'll actually lift, we'll actually meet, and we'll do walkthroughs and have recovery. And then we'll go 3 hard days. Because if you really think about it, you don't go 5 hard days in a row in football. Okay. Yeah. You don't go. Once you get into the season, Monday is really a light day. You got 2 full days. You go Tuesday, Wednesday are your work days. Thursday, you slow it down. Some people take it off. Other people lighten it up. But whatever you do, it's not full. And then Friday before the game is light, and you play the game. So you're only into 2 full days of hard days, even when the season starts. So to go 5 days in a row like we used to do probably is not the smartest thing in the world, from that standpoint. So we're going to go Monday, Tuesday. Wednesday will be an off day, more of a recovery day, mental day. and then we go Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and we'll get after it. And then Sunday is completely off. Okay, so Sunday is your off day. You're completely off. You rest, you recover, and then we'll crank it back up on Monday. So we'll do that schedule for 3 weeks. And then the last week, because we're going to have a pretty good scrimmage that last week, we'll actually give them two days off. You know, there is scientific evidence that, you know, the amount of time off after a game, you know, 48 hours is important. So we'll give them 2 days off.
Yeah.
That last week to recover, and then we'll have actually have 3 light practices that week, only about an hour and 30 minutes on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and that's when we'll transition more to scout team stuff. You know, maybe there's an opponent that we want to work on that we won't see for a while. We'll do that, or something maybe we didn't get from our offense. We'll do that in our scout team periods, and then we'll focus a little bit on the first game within those, and then we'll take a day off for the players, and then that Saturday we start our Monday schedule for the opening ball game.
Well, it's funny you brought that up, 'cause I've asked you before, but I had a text message about that. When do you start thinking about Illinois? So it's early, right? You get in there pretty quickly, don't you?
So we've already did the game plan for them, and a lot of the things that we'll do are a part of our core of what we'll do. So we've already done that. So like that last week, I may take either 1 or 2 of the days and start them. I mean, you know, there's a lot of carryover in college football with offenses. So if there's anything unique that maybe we don't get from our offense, we'll do that. But we'll just continue to work and improve and get ready to play.
And I've asked you that before, but it's unique now, especially for a first opponent with the portal and everything, right? I know the coaching staff's still there, so that helps, but it's kind of a little different thing, isn't it, with personnel and so forth?
Yeah. So, you know, you got to really, you know, that's where the PFF really comes into play. So, for example, let's say you have a player that played somewhere else, you can go to PFF and make a highlight tape of him and maybe scout the things that he does well, you know, as far as his speed, his ability to catch the ball, his ability to make explosive plays, those kind of things. So you can implement that to kind of understand the kind of player they have and how they may utilize him. So, you know, you'll do that for all the positions. You know, you can do the same thing with an offensive lineman. You can look to see how, you know, he sets or things that, you know, maybe give him trouble or things that he does well. And so you kind of scout those guys individually and put it a part of the system that you're getting ready to face.
How important, Micah asked, good question, Micah. Thank you on the text line. How important is it, Coach, to have energy from the staff so the players see how energetic the coaching staff is starting camp?
To me, that's the whole thing. I mean, I create energy at practice. I also create controversy and I'll create issue. I mean, you got to be demanding. Like I told my guys, look, I love these guys, right? But football is a hard sport. It's a tough sport for tough people. And there's going to be some point that you're going to have to go stop them. Okay. Well, you're going to be built for that moment. Okay. Well, to build you for that moment, we got to put you in those situations. So it's kind of like you got to sometimes put them under duress. Okay. So, you know, duress, you know, stress is one of those, like you're getting ready to take the exam and you prepared and you're really prepared for it. You got stressed because it's a big deal, but you've prepared to go perform. Duress is like, you ain't ready for this. Okay. You're not ready for this. And you got to go do it. You know what you're doing. Well, we want to prepare you so that when that big moments come, you can go make plays. Okay. However, bringing energy is all about it. You know, I learned that from Bill Cowher way back. Okay. I mean, when Bill Cowher was, you know, younger, you know, coaching, and I listened to him speak at a clinic, and he's like, if you have negative energy at practice, look to yourself first. Okay. And I've always been a big believer in energy. So as coaches, we're going to create energy and positive vibe because that fuels players, you know, but at the same time, it allows you to coach them hard, which means now I can correct them and get them to where we need to be on other things. So I think it's just a relationship thing, but I do think positive energy is important. And I think that your ability to show that is important in the relationship you have with your players.
Yeah, 100%. Well, getting off the field, the madness of the NCAA continues with this whole 5-for-5 ruling. The judge, And then the judge saying they're not really sure. They had clarified. I mean, this whole thing is you can't make up how badly they're trying to mess this all up.
So So number one is I'm tired of. I don't care because I got my guys.
Got your guys.
I got my guys. We're gonna go play. Spot the ball. We're gonna go play. So I really don't care what the rules are. But here's a couple things. Is number one is now you've pigeonholed the player coming back because if you say, okay, that they thought they were ineligible, now they can't go anywhere. So basically, the team that they're locked into can say, this is all we're going to give you. Okay, so they can lock you in that way. Okay, that's number one. Number two, most teams already have their rosters done. Okay, so therefore you're going to have to cut somebody. Well, if you cut somebody, that person that gets cut doesn't have access to another team because the portal's closed. So those are just two little things there. And you're supposed to have a salary cap, which most people would be, close to that number anyway. But because of this CSC and NIL and, all of that, you can work around that. So there's ways around that rule because people are doing it right now. So you can get around that rule. But I'm just saying, you know what? I mean, I looked at it when I first saw it, but I really didn't care. I mean, I got my guys. I'm ready to roll. So we're starting practice today, and this is who we're going with. And that's the mindset I took, and we're ready to go. So, yeah, it's, it just goes to show you that, you need to let confident people be in charge.
Exactly. What a concept, right? What a concept. You think this thing, it's going to be take two, Stanford trying to get a players union collective bargaining thing going. You think that's going to have any legs whatsoever? And would that benefit the players at all? I don't even know if it would.
Well, I don't really. I mean, first of all, they tried to get players unions back when I was playing for Bill Dewey at Virginia Tech. That whole thing started. There was a guy that came around to talk to us. And I mean, that's been going on since the mid 80s, as far as player unions go. I don't think anything will happen with that from that realm. Eventually, there might be some kind of collective bargaining, which means you're now saying the players are employees. And then how do you go about that? But I don't think from strictly having a players union, I don't think that'll happen anytime soon. I mean, that's been going on since the mid 80s.
Yeah. I think it's just it gets reported as a story, but there's no legs or any kind of plan for it to go forward.
Yeah, it's not,
which is very, very strange. Your league getting a lot of love, right? You talked about this league. Your conference is really good, isn't it, from top to bottom?
Yeah, it's really good. I mean, if you look at it, I mean, the amount of guys that leave this league after being starters in this league is really, really high. It's like 78%. So, and they go to Power Four. So therefore, it's like the commissioner said, hey, we're a developmental league. Okay, that's really what we are. So I think you got to look at it that way and understand and where you are and continue to grow because, guys develop later. What happens is you end up getting the guys that maybe were a year behind. Okay, and then all of a sudden now they developed. Or for whatever reasons they weren't recruited, they go lower level, they shine, and now they bump up and they can have the opportunity to shine again. So what it does is it creates opportunities for people to showcase their talents, and there are a lot of talented people in this conference. So we know that's going to be a challenge, but we're certainly looking forward to it, and see what happens.
I love that self-awareness, Coach, coming from the top of the conference, right? I love that because everybody understands that's what that is. And if we just had more of that in college sports, it would be more successful than it has been, or at least seem like there'd be less chaos.
You can't hide it. I mean, if a guy does really well, he's probably going in the portal expecting to be compensated more. So you just have to understand that and be ready to manage it the best you can and move on. So that's where we are. So our big focus is getting our team to play, giving us the ability to go out and perform at a level that makes ourselves proud and other people too. So we're excited about getting started today and, what we can do this year.
One more, Coach, we'll let you go. Tim asks, Coach, how tempted are you every practice to put a helmet on and get out there with the guys and hit with them a little bit?
What's that? That ship sailed a long time ago. Like I'm not that.
You're not looking to do that, are you?
I'm not looking for that. Just like you always have scuffles and you try to minimize that thing. We have a really good rule. If a scuffle breaks out, you grab, and because this is really what happens in a game, right? is in a game, it's always the second guy that gets called. Not the first guy, it's the second
That's
guy.
right. That's right.
So we actually have a rule that I like, that if something happens or breaks out, you're only allowed to grab your colored jersey and you pull them to your sidelines. That's it. You don't grab anybody else. You don't touch anybody else. You grab your colored jersey. And we actually practice that because everything you do is a habitual trait. It's a habit. So we have that built in. And we don't have, you might get a little scuffle here and there because, you get tempers flare and competitive, everybody's competing and all that. But you gotta have a system in place. So that is actually our system. And we have a process to handle that, because in the game, you got to handle it. Well, ours is pretty simple. You can only grab your colored jersey and you can only pull them to your sidelines. And then that handles it. Anything else, you're wrong. So that's how we handle that.
Yeah, because you're exactly right. No matter if you think you're in the right, you want to defend your teammate at all costs. Chances are the official's going to see it differently, and you're going to hurt the team.
And now with replay, they can get everybody. They can go back at it. So it's not worth it. All you're doing then is really hurting the team. So that's where everybody's got to understand that you're not bigger than the team. We have a team concept. So that's our rule: is you grab your colored jersey and you pull them to your sidelines. That's it. Anything else, you're wrong.
Yeah, I like it. Well, great stuff as always, Coach. I told you this a few days ago, but I've had so many people say, you think you know more about football, and then you listen to Coach Grantham and you get educated every time, man. So people, it's really cool. You taking us inside all the different levels, from the highest level, the NFL to college now, what you're doing at UAB, man. It's really cool. It's really cool.
Well, we're looking forward to it. We're looking forward to having a really good year. I'm excited about our guys. I like their attitude. They work hard, and we just got to go now perform. So that's what the next 3.5 weeks are for.
Yeah. Get out there and do it. Exactly right. All right, man. We will catch up, and have a great day today and a great week. First week of full practice, man.
All right, bud. You guys take care. See you. Bye-bye.
No, you too. There you go. That's defensive coordinator of the UAB Blazers, Todd Grantham, joining us here on the program. Thanks for all the comments. Thanks for all the questions. Yeah. He's sandbagging a little bit, Brandon. He could get out there and he could do a couple of drills. Hardest I've ever been hit in my life, that guy. He was very nice about it. I don't know if I was was a scout team back or something. And as a sophomore, and here's Todd, as a senior, he's all everything. And you run into the hole, and then there he is. And yeah, I love that. And the message I get, and this is what you want, right? You talk about it. You can put these guys together. Doesn't matter what happened last year. Doesn't matter what people think's going to happen this year. It's time to just go do it. And every program across the country is faced with that right now. And that's why you have some programs end up having great years that weren't supposed to, and then some programs are predicted to do well that they don't. Right? It's about those things. And it feels like to me, no matter what else happens, right, just listening to Coach Grantham, there's no doubt in my mind they're going to be prepared the way that you envision if you're a Tech fan, if you're a Virginia fan, if you're a Notre Dame fan, how you envision a team properly prepared to go into a game, into a season. I have no doubt that they're going to do that at UAB. Brandon says, can we see Rick and Coach Grantham do the Oklahoma drill? No, Brandon, we're not going to do that. No. Not interested in that at all. No, really not. But it's exciting stuff, and we'll be there for the build. That's just what's cool, too. Many people here probably don't ever even consider University of Alabama, Birmingham football, right? But now we've got a direct link. We've got one of our own up here from the New River Valley. We've got a Virginia Tech Hokie who played for Bill Dooley, who started for 2 years. We got all the connections to the state. We got all the guy who's been in the NFL and college football's highest level. We got all this connection now, so it kind of becomes our subsidiary program. So when, Brandon, we used your question last week, if you couldn't pull for your favorite college football team, who would it be? Man, I'm going to be pulling for, like heck, for UAB this year. I don't know about you, but I'm going to be watching that Thursday night opener on the Big Ten Network against Illinois. And I know they're going to have their work cut out for them in a game like that, but let's just see how they handle themselves, right? We got guys we know that know what the hell they're doing, right? That have evaluated this team. Coach Grantham, Phil Elmassian, right? Coach has gone through the whole personnel, all the new players. Honest assessments. So it's going to be fun. We're going to watch James Franklin's first team develop. We're going to see all these different sub-stories of college football that are going to, I think, be plenty for us to just completely block out all the incompetence. As Coach just said, man, it's amazing what happens when you hire competent people, isn't it? Well, they have very competent people down in Birmingham, Alabama, running that football program. And Coach Mortensen, I think, is a terrific young coach. By the way, he is the son of the late NFL reporter Chris Mortensen, one of the best to do it. So football has been part of his life since he's been able to even know what sports was. There you go, Brandon. Yeah, exactly. We're going to be pulling for him. I get that. Yeah, Tech, your alma mater, JMU, and now UAB. Boy, you would have been, just think if JMU would have stayed on the schedule, Brandon, that opener. Tech and JMU. Wow. Would you have worn one of those half jerseys, half Tech, half JMU? Painted your face? But yeah, I hope they do well. And we'll see how it builds. Got to stay healthy. We're going to start hearing, especially this week, you watch. And I hate to say it, but we're going to start seeing it. You watch. Who's going to be the first team, Power League or not? You're going to hear about a major player who gets hurt. It's going to happen. Injuries suck. It's such a byproduct of this sport, but boy, it sucks. Great sport. Everything about it's great. Boy, injuries suck. Just like when Radford men's basketball played at JMU. That's right. When you were working at Radford and won a good game and remained neutral. Well, I think you would have had a good game had it been the Dukes. Yep. That's fair. We'll have the announcement of our BDST fan question of the week. Maybe we'll do that. Maybe we're going to change it to who are your two teams that'll play for the national championship? How about that? Let's roll with that. We'll use half of Brandon's question. Our attorney, Ryan Pry, BDST fan question of the week. Which two schools will play for the 2026 College Football National Championship? Hit me up on the text line, presented by Professional Door, 391-0788. You can DM me, which many people do, for our questions. Thanks to Family Fencing, McClellan Chiropractic, Professional Door Incorporated. Thanks to Pulaski County Sports Entertainment. It was great to catch up with Jonathan Sweet, Little River Heating and Air. The attorney Ryan Pry, 701 West Main Street. National Bank, member FDIC. The Ready Set Fund. Sundown Electric. The NRB Super Bowl. Lawson's Mobile Home Supply. Brandon at Top Shelf Apparel. And everyone at the Montgomery County Chamber. Next week, who finishes higher in ACC? Tech or UVA? I think that'll be Tech-centric though, but yeah, maybe we could do that. We'll go with the national title pick this week, and we want both teams, not just one. Somebody just sent Alabama. Alabama. Okay, who's Alabama going to play? Send both. Yeah, send both. Oh, I know. And it's difficult for people. You got to take off the Homer glasses. I'm with you. Got to do it. Got to be honest. Got to be honest. And I think the text I had earlier saying he wasn't putting Tech down. He goes, I could see a world where Tech could go 4-0 and then win one of their last 8 games. Brandon's got Oregon, Ohio State. It's interesting. The gentleman, whose name is not attached to the text, but said Alabama would play Ohio State. So Ohio State's already got 2 votes. He's got Alabama, Ohio State. You've got Oregon, Ohio State. There you go, Brandon. And I did pick Tech winning that game. UVA has a lot of advantages schedule-wise again in its favor for the second straight year. Who they avoid, we'll get into that tomorrow. Don't really have time today, but we'll get into that some tomorrow. We'll look at the UVA perspective. So you can't see him, but Creed came in, and he's laying here, and you could tell he was pretty busy last night. Not sure where the voting is, but Vols, and if Tech starts 4-0, there's no way they only win one more. Yeah, I agree with that, Low Country. Because you feel like momentum, right? You get a lot of confidence. You win a lot early can change the whole mindset and approach of a team. Just like losing can do the same. I'm with you there, Low Country. UVA has Glenver and Carroll County on their schedule. No, I didn't see that. I didn't realize it. Need to start the fan count predictions for each game on UVA's schedule. You know what? We're gonna look at UVA's schedule in depth tomorrow. How about that? We'll look at that tomorrow. We'll check out Phil Steele's total breakdown of the Cavs. How about that? And then Coach Elmo is going to go visit and get a breakdown. So that'll be fun. All right, great start to the week as always. Thanks to Coach Elmo. Thanks to Jonathan Sweet and Todd Grantham. Tomorrow will be the Tuesday edition of the program. Not sure about Marty and Rags on Wednesday. We're trying to get that solidified as well. Brian Steinspring scheduled this week at some point. Somebody else. We got a lot going on. Thanks to all of our great sponsors. Thanks to you. Best viewing audience on YouTube. Hope we made the start of your Monday and another work week go a little more smoothly. And we'll see you on the Tuesday edition. Take care, everybody. We'll see you.